Okay. So let's get right on to it. Welcome to the Lawyer Henderson podcast show. I hope everybody had a prosperous weekend. Hope everybody had a good weekday. How is everybody? I'm doing fine. Thank you very much. And welcome to the Lawyer Henderson podcast show. No. There's still not going to be no music. Let's get right on into it. Well, Ricky Shiffer, 42, tried to storm in the FBI field office in Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio. He said they're calling for a defund the FBI. Oh man, wow. Now this come as days as the FBI had raided former President Donald Trump's one of his mansions, I guess, some of his property or whatever. And man, boy, that upset the white supremacists. How dare you go and try to raid our president's home? Why, I'm 50, go ahead and go off here. Well, now y'all can go and read the story, but I want to get on into the meat and butter. You know, it's all over the news. You know about it. But this talk now about the defund the FBI, man, it's becoming very prevalent. It reminds you of defund the police, the movement that we basically tried to do after the death of George Floyd. You see, and so therefore the white supremacists was upset at the FBI just because they raided one of Donald Trump's properties. You see, boy, they didn't like that at all. Man, they raided one of Donald Trump's Florida mansions, I guess it was called, in Florida. And boy, man, these people down there, boy, them white supremacists said, hell no. How dare you? How dare you? Let me go get my AR 40, blah, 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 and I'll show you, FBI, I'll show you. Now, you keep in mind that, of course, the FBI is no friends to black people. We've known the FBI to dismantle civil rights organizations. You know, the FBI was watching Dr. King. The FBI was watching Malcolm X. The FBI has basically have been involved in the killings of these great leaders that we had in our community. Of course, Fred Hampton, because of J. Edgar Hoover when it first started. The FBI basically was in the business of dismantling black organizations. They did not want black people to have any kind of rising messiah. They have often made sure that another black messiah doesn't rise up. Man, the FBI basically have been putting in work on black leaders and black organizations. But now, when they basically decided that they're going to mess with former President Donald Trump, or these white MAGA supporters or whatever of Trump's said, hell no, you're not. You can go and mess with them niggers, but when it comes to us, you better not do it, FBI. You know. So the FBI basically arrested this Ricky Shiffer, 42 years old, for storming in with a AR-47 or whatever it's called into that field office in Cincinnati, Ohio. Man, this is what see when the white supremacists feel like, hey man, our freedoms are being lost. Man, they're going to do something about it. So they're not going to do no talk just like black folks do. they're gonna do some. They're gonna do something about it. So this talk now about defund the FBI is in work. It is now becoming popular among the white supremacists, right? Man, this is becoming very, very popular among them. They do not like it when their uh, rights are being trumped on. No pun intended. You see, so all the years that the FBI has, like I said, been doing all this crap to black folk, you know, now that they do it to these white folks, now all of a sudden you need to fund the FBI. They did a story talking about Black Lives Matter, came out, and we already know that this is not a black organization. They came out and said, "Oh, look at the hypocrisy of the white conservative." You see, you all are talking about defund the FBI just because they raided one of Trump's properties. You see, oh, you're hypocritical, they say. You see, we have to basically keep in mind, however, that the FBI is not our friend. The feds have never been our friends. The feds have allowed us to, for these race soldiers, these police officers, to get away with all kinds of crimes against us. We know that the FBI is not our friends, ladies and gentlemen, you know. But we also know that it is hypocritical for the white conservatives or the white militias or Magna supporters and white ringers, whatever you want to call them. That's what the liberals are calling them. But this is white supremacists in both. Doesn't matter of the talking about the left wing, the right wing. We as black people should not be caught up into that because these are white supremacists, no matter what party they're in. Neither party is going to help black folk. Bottom line. Bottom line. And so this talk about defund the FBI, and basically now it's been mimicking all of a sudden when we start talking about defund police because of what they did to George Floyd. Now these white supremacists are saying, hey, no, I got one better, dude. We must defund the FBI, man. How dare they, man, come and raid Donald Trump's property, man? How dare they, dude? We gotta show them who's boss. We gotta show them who runs our country. And stand with me, brother, in this situation. You see, it kind of remind me of the Capitol riots here, where you got all of these people, of course, who had stormed the Capitol, and yet they're getting slaps on the wrist. You see, so we can look at the difference between how black people are charged in this country versus how white folks are charged. We can always look at that differential and use that to our leverage. You see. So I didn't want to basically go into the story, of course. I wanted to see not only talk about the hypocrisy of this, but also get down into the meat and the beans of it. When you look there at the Capitol riots, and you see that these white men are getting slaps on the wrist, well, they got their friends with law enforcement and they're tied into law enforcement. So it's a game being played as it relates to trying to charge all of them, you know? And they killed some people there. They killed a white officer there, right? They killed a white female right? And yet, no one has been charged in either one of their deaths in the Capitol riot there. You see, and this is hypocrisy. This is hypocrisy because it shows you that the white wing conservative, white supremacists, if they basically feel like that there's freedom, their freedom has been trampled on or encroached upon, they're going to let you know that if we can't have freedom, if we can't have justice, then we don't desire to live. You see, if you're going to basically say that we do not have rights, then this means the end of us living. And that's the difference between them and us. See, we get the police that shoot and kill us in these streets, and every story one after the other, and yet black people still trying to fit into this society, no matter what white people have done. But when you let the white supremacists get their rights encroached upon, man, you better go and you better be prepared because they are not going to let their rights be encroached upon. They're going to die for their right to live in a society where they're going to demand way more than black folks will demand, right? We just talk about it. But hell, we already know, man, that we'll get arrested real quick, so we don't really fight like that. We don't really go up there and talk that talk. We're not going to invade the Capitol building because the first thing that these folks are going to do is they're going to make sure we're arrested, and they're going to give us football years in prison. You see, and we know it. That's the reason why we don't engage in this type of stuff. You see. That doesn't mean that we are afraid of the white supremacists. But what we're saying here is that black people don't do this here. You see. But see, you can look at, case after case. You can see that police officers shooting us down. Not too long ago, you see how the Los Angeles Police Department basically just recently shot 60 rounds into Jalen Walker, a 25-year-old black man who they claim was fleeing in Akron, Ohio. You see, and the white supremacist race soldier cops came and shot him 60 times and said, "How dare you, nigger, run from us?" And start shooting and killing him, and basically end up murdering him. You see, in Akron, Ohio. You see, now you take what happened with Jalen Walker, which was he was only 25 years old, and you take what happened with the uh, Shiffer dude who's 42, who tried to storm into the FBI with that rifle or that gun or whatever. And you see the difference of where we at in this society. A white man gets to storm into the FBI in Cincinnati, Ohio. Now they said there that he was shot and killed. Okay. But typically we have seen often that white men, or where they shoot up these schools and stuff, that they basically were their lives were protected, that they were in custody, right? We see how that was. But we also then see that when black people are accused of the same thing, moreover, they get shot, they get killed. There's some more stories to it, I believe, and yet we don't really hear about these crimes no more. So-called crimes coming from black people who they say commit them, like shooting up these schools. We don't find out what's going on. You know, we later doesn't see like for instance, they said that black man who shut up the hospital. Uh, I think he was some guy who shut up the hospital. We don't. I think he was in Texas. You see, we don't hear nothing about any updates. You see, the suspect and the black dude was mentally disturbed, what have you, and they shot and killed him. I don't believe that story. You see, I believe that some race soldiers went in there and shot that doctor, and then they shot the mental person, and then tried to say that the mental person shot the doctor. You see, that's how they come in with all kinds of lies. And you might say, well, you're engaging again in conspiracy theories here now, lawyer. Stop it, stop it, stop it there now. Well, if I am, you know, uh, I do have a point though. Just listen to the point that I have here, you know. But anyway, yeah, man. We basically seen now that they're ready for the next election. They want Trump back in office. Okay. Ironically, there's some black people who want him back in office too. you know. But if you look at it, you'll see there that they're not playing games with what's going on, you know, in this country regarding if their rights are going to be trampled up on, are going to be encroached upon. See, we have to understand that the white supremacists in this society, which runs this society, and we must recognize then that they are willing to die for their rights to exist, their rights to have freedoms and so called liberties that that the black man just cannot have in society. And that's very, very dangerous, you see. So I'm looking at your comments here, your live comments here. I think what we have to understand and recognize that that it's going to be interesting. So because now since they don't want Joe Biden there, Joe Biden's not done anything, man. But he, and they should basically see that they had at first they had a problem with Joe Biden, but Joe Biden's too old, and they don't want him. They all know he's a racist. So these white wingers are not going to touch him. They know that he's a racist. They know of all of the black men that he put in jail. You know, that's see the thing about that is that they don't really is claim they're not really claiming that they um, don't like Joe Biden. What they're doing is they have calmed down because they knew the history of Joe Biden. They knew the history of him and Bill Clinton putting black men in jail, which the white supremacists admired by him. So when they stormed the right, the I'm sorry, the Capitol, when they stormed that, I should say, is they said, okay, well, we just don't want Joe Biden in there because he's too old. So everything calmed down when they knew that his record was to make sure that black people do not get any type of real tangible benefits in the society, you see. And that's the reason then, of course, why his approval rating is down. He lost a lot of support from either the black folks who came out to support him. Man, this man is a hater of black people. And the white supremacists then was sitting back and say, well, we didn't know that we thought that Joe was going to give black people some rights. So but now they see that he's not doing that. They're basically saying, wait a minute, our excuses now is he's just too old, you know. And he's giving these white supremacists that raided the Capitol, he's giving them light sentence. His Justice Department is doing that, right? But they're wanting Trump to get back in office, and that you need a stronger president in office because now overseas, I mean, not overseas, but over in other parts of the world, oh, you got everything out of control. Okay. You got the United States, this old no good bastard Joe Biden. You got him saying that he's going to come to the aid of Taiwan if China invade Taiwan. You got problems in the Middle East. Israel just fired some missiles on the Gaza Strip, trying to take out some more Palestinians. You got problems in Ukraine with Russia. You got other situations like in Pakistan, in India, and you think you got some problems there in what's that in other parts of Latin America and Eastern Southeast Asia. You see, you have problems now in the world, and Joe Biden is basically trying to enforce rules and regulation with soft power. And now gas prices is going up, and so is uh, the housing market. We have an increase of inflation. And this president is looking like a fool right now. And there has not been, really, the white media has not called Joe Biden out on his anti racism against us. This man is the one who said that he would have black people's back. He does not have our back. He's letting these white supremacists run wild, not only in the United States, but he basically have problems overseas. The rise of China is basically a fundamental issue that we have not seen before. We should talk about this more in depth, though. I don't have time to talk about it tonight. But China is not playing with Taiwan. You see, you're going to be, a part of us. China is letting Taiwan know. You're going to be a part of us. We don't care what the West say. You understand? So, guys, like I said, not to get off topic, but we got a problem now. We got problems. And now these white supremacists, the only person who they feel like could keep this going, to bring them back to have some type of stability, to make these white supremacists feel like they have a sense of self and a will to live, is that you do not mess with their presidential base. And that presidential base, of course, is not Jim Crow Joe Biden, but it is Donald Trump. And they want him back in office. And God damn it, they're going to be willing to do all they can to make sure it happens. They have basically decided to chant defund the FBI, defund the police, because as they see it, they do not want to live. If they cannot have rights, they feel like, of course, that the rights you should be invading is black folk, and the hell with trying to invade our rights. And when you step on our base, when you try to target us, we are ready to die for it, for our survival, for our rights. That's something that black folks are afraid to do, you see. But I wanted to talk about all of this defund the FBI talk. And I wanted to let you know, from Kyle Rittenhouse, getting them real young, to all of these other folks, it is really, 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 really getting serious out here. But before I go, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk a little bit about Daniel Cameron. Daniel Cameron tried to speak at a rally of his, and boy, the crowd was hyped. They did not want him to get back in there. The Democratic base did not want him back in there at his rally. He was trying to speak loud over them, and they kept on chanting, Breonna Taylor, Breonna Taylor. So Daniel Cameron is facing a lot of slack here. So we'll see with the election of him running, I think, for governor or some kind of position down there in Kentucky. Boy, they're not playing down there. Yeah, so yeah, society is changing, man. Society is changing. You know, it's just changing. It just is. We're not going to be like the older civil rights generation. We're not going to be like them. We basically, is going to be more forceful than them. We're going to be, of course, we're going to be more smarter and bolder than them, But everything is getting real out here, man. People are going to be turning up, man. There's no more such thing as you trampling up on our rights anymore. Man, that's what these white supremacists are saying. They are out here with guns and AK-47s, and that's another thing. They do not want you trying to take their guns from them, because these white supremacists feel like the guns is what's going to protect them, is what keeps them in power. It what's motivate the white man is his gun. That's the reason then why, as Amos Wilson pointed out, you cannot listen to the white man talk about morals. Remember this Joy Osteen and all these other white preachers who go out there and they try to tell black folks, and even the president like Clinton and all these folks, and you have to talk about morals and how morals are values and stuff like that. You got to listen to what our values, or listen to what the United States values and morals are. You see, Amos Wilson taught us, you basically do not want to listen to the white man talk about morals. Grab your gun when the white man starts talking about morals. You understand? Because he is going to engage in a lot of immoral behavior. And he is willing to kill you if you stand in his way. He's willing to die for what he believes in. And yet, you basically better Watch out. These white supremacists have become emboldened up on this society. They're willing to fight it all out, to battle it all out. And Jim Crow Joe Biden, of course, know that because of his son Hunter Biden and the laptop and the books and everything coming out, they know in his old age, of course, they know that this man has no chance in hell. This is why he's doing this to Trump. Trump basically had got a lot of information about Joe Biden's uh, son's laptop, the emails, his business relationship in China or Ukraine or one of those countries that they were doing business with. And the book, the laptop from hell, which is out now, it details all this stuff. So Joe Biden basically is playing a game here. He's playing a game. He wants to talk about PPP fraud, and yet he is the biggest fraudster of them all. You understand? What type of morals is he talking about? You see? You see? And I love to listen to Amos Wilson. Grab your gun when a white man starts talking about morals. Yeah, he's been engaged in a lot of immoral stuff and immoral behavior. But black people go out here and get serious. Get your gun, grab your gun, go out here and get your bulletproof vest because you're going to need it. Because everybody is now, in this state, in Georgia here, and other parts of other states, and hell, probably the whole country, they are saying we don't care who go and get a gun. And this is going to increase the shooting and the violence here, you see. But yeah, guys, I wanted to just talk about this issue here about defund the FBI, defund the police, these MAGA hats, these conservative, these white ringers, these white supremacists, race soldiers, all of these folks that is all in line with each other. Man, they are upset with the FBI raiding Donald Trump's mansion. They are upset with that, boy. You don't mess with them, boy. You don't mess with them, and they can feel another White House victory in 2024. And they feel like that this is political coming from Jim Crow Joe. And y'all better believe it is. And now that the country is losing their confidence in Jim Crow Joe, his approval rating is in the tank. This liberal and lies and talking about LGBT and women and all this old stuff. People are not playing games out here no more. They're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And you're not going to take their liberty from them. They are willing to die for it. You understand? I want to thank you all, ladies and gentlemen. Lawyer Henderson TV. Go ahead and check me out. Leave your comments. Like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the cash out. It's $ Lawyer Henderson 40. Until next time, my brothers and my sisters, I'm Lawyer Henderson with the Lawyer Henderson Podcast Show. Take care.